Hi, welcome back to the channel. I just thought I'd do a little video today as I've got a small little bit of maintenance to do on the bike, on the GT. I've got to put on 2 new handguards. You'll have seen on the previous video, the bike fell over onto one side, smashed one of these, and now's the time to put actually a new pair on. KTM wanted about £170 just for one of these. Anyway, been on to Fleabay and I've got 2 used ones, very good condition. There's one slight mark on one of them, but I got the pair for £99, so don't feel you have to go and pay those Robin gets big money for some of these items that you need every now and then on your bike. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second, but what I thought I would do is just show you how I leave my bike. I said in the winter. I don't do this during the spring, summer and autumn period when the bike's being continually used. I literally just do this for a bit of protection here in the garage. I used to have the 2 bikes in here with the KTM 890 Ducati, and I used to have this on the side stand to lean it that way, and my other bike that way. But what I've got now is I've only got the one bike. I actually put this with the Oxford, what's it called, the Protex stretch cover. This is primarily just to stop dust getting onto it, getting scratched. Whilst there is a bit of dampness comes through the garage door, it just provides that extra little bit of protection. So this goes on for a few months. I also, if I take this off now, I'll just show you what else I do. Right, a little bit of a stretch, that comes off nicely. You get these in very different sizes. I would highly recommend these. So the bike's now on a grab stand. This keeps the bike upright, easy to access left and right. And then also I have the ground anchor, which if none of you have it, you should have one. It keeps your insurance manageable, but just gives you peace of mind. This is a ground anchor with a Thatcham Mammoth chain and lock. It's the square linkages, so it's apparently more difficult to break. And I've also got, and I always do this every single time I put the bike in the garage, I connect up to the Optimax 4 that continually conditions and charges the battery. Whereas most chargers simply charge, this actually puts load onto the battery, so it mimics that sort of usage cycle. So taking drain off the battery, recharging it, best way to keep the bike and the bike battery in perfect condition. I've had this bike, was it 3.5 years now, never had one issue whatsoever with the battery. All my other bikes I've had it, never one issue with batteries, and I highly recommend it. Simple, plug it in every time you come in, becomes force of habit, you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, these are the replacements as I showed before. It is a simple case of screwing in to the handles, adjusting them to your own requirements in terms of position. There is only one way to put these in, really, to be honest with you, but it's depending on how you've got the handlebars set. These handlebars on the GT can be rotated to different heights, so you can just adjust these accordingly just through rotating. So that's my setup on the bike. I'm literally just going to fit these in a minute, but just by way of update, I just thought I'd mention to you that for the last video, or last couple of videos, I've been talking about getting the Ducati, the Multistrada, the V4. Still looking to do that. I've got an agreement with the Ducati dealer to take the X demo bike on a really good deal, but I can't stop looking at the Pikes Peak videos, and whilst they're a very expensive bike, there are a few out there, second-hand ones, which there might be a deal on. I just look at the Pikes Peak and I just think, wow, what a beautiful bike. It's more like this, which is a sort of a super sport tourer bike. The adventure, sorry, the V4S to me is more like an equivalent of just an adventure bike. It's a fantastic bike, I love it, and if I go down that path, I'm sure I'll get on great with it. But you look at the Pikes Peak, it's got the full Olin suspension, the 17-inch rim, the lighter forged wheels, single-sided swing arm, which allows for the 190 profile tyre, which I do like. You're forced to live, or you're limited to the 180 if you go for the V4S, because that's got the standard double-sided rear swing arm. It's got slightly different mapping and controls. It's just a beautiful, beautiful bike, and I just think it's that extra 10-15% sportier than the standard V4S. So we'll see. I'm going to have a conversation. I haven't committed yet. I haven't hit the go button, but that's something I'm going to be looking at over the next few weeks, I'm sure. The only other thing to sort of report on is that we're now planning our 2024 trip. We're looking like we're going to ride down to Plymouth, go over to Santander, do the Picos, and then we're going to ride through Portugal, taking as many of the great roads and coastal roads down there. If anyone's been into Portugal and you've got any decent routes, please let me know in the comments below. And then we're going to swing into Spain. I'd like to go to Seville, and we're thinking of meandering through the central Spain, off the beaten track, trying to find some of those lovely, lovely towns and most importantly, lovely, lovely roads. So we're planning to do that in May. We're pulling a few of the details together now in the planning phase. I'm hoping my brother can make it. He went on the back of this bike New Year's Eve, so that's given him a bit of a confidence boost on getting on the bike after his really, really bad leg break, and he's coming on really well. Anyway, without further ado, I'm just going to fit these handguards now. Any questions, drop me a line. Thanks for supporting the channel as always, and yeah, hopefully in the next few weeks I've made a decision on the next bike. This, however, is an amazing bike. I've got to say, it's an amazing bike. I've had it 3.5 years. I've got what, 15,000, 16,000 miles on it. Hasn't missed a beat. It's ballsy. It's aggressive when you want it to be. It's like a kitten when you want it to be. You can tour it and do 500-600 miles a day in it with the panniers that I've got. It's so versatile, this bike. It really, really is. One of the downsides of the Ducati is the fuel economy. You only get about 170, 160 miles to the tank, depending on how you ride it. This I'll get 220 miles to the tank, and this is a 21 litre tank. The Ducati is a 22 litre tank. It's 170 horsepower, so is the Ducati, so they're on a par. But I think I'll miss the V-twin. Although it's a bit agricultural and a bit sort of vibey at times and a bit grunty, it just pulls and pulls and pulls with 140 newtons of torque it's got. But the Ducati is a different proposition. It's more refined, it's more polished. It's the suspension I'm really looking forward to on the Ducati. Yes, it's styled beautifully. Yes, it's an expensive bike, but you get a 4-year warranty on a new bike there. They've gone to the valve rather than the Desmo valves now, or the standard valves rather than the Desmo valves. So it means you don't have to do the valve adjustments until 36,000 miles. So it brings the servicing costs sort of down significantly. And it's just a great bike. Anyway, without further ado, let's get these handguards on. Just a simple Allen key. And the way the mechanism works, it actually pulls a wedged, what looks like a sort of chamfered nut inside, and it literally just opens that up as if it's like a raw plug. And it's literally just a case of position them, tighten them up, and as they say, Robert's your father's brother, or Bob's your uncle. Making sure it's clear of the brake lever, which it is. And the same on this side. Let's get up the bike, make sure it feels okay. Both look good. Right, job done. Just got that to tighten up, that comes loose. It's a bit of an awkward config here. You've got a 13 and a 14 mil nut on the top. They just need to be tightened up in opposing directions. But other than that, yeah, cool, we'll go back on. Looking forward to the next ride. Thanks for watching the video. Again, if you've got any thoughts around the trips in Portugal, and whether you've got any decent routes there that you can share, please let me know. Hopefully you found this a little bit of a segue to your life in the winter months. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for following the channel.